Hey, my dear friends, I'm your guest. So, today I'm explaining you Chapter 2 Land, Soil, Water, Natural Vegetation, and Wildlife Resources. So, before going in the chapter, we have to understand the chapter name. Now, what is land? Land is somewhere where we live. We know this, isn't it? And when we talk about soil, soil is something which is used for agriculture. It's the different soils, different types of soils depends upon the different types of crops you grow. And water is an essential thing. It is more essential for drinking, especially. Humans cannot exist without water. And natural vegetation, it includes food in it. It includes food which has nutrients, which provides nutrients to our body. It's very we require it in a big amount. And we talk about wildlife resources like animals. They are also very, very important in the nature and ecosystem, because if one of the animal dies, then it would be very hard for the ecosystem to exist. There would be an imbalance in ecosystem. Now, there are many resources. So first resource is land. Now, when talk about land, land is among the most important natural resources. It covers only about 30% of total area of Earth's surface, and all parts of this small percentage are not habitable. Like, it means that in 30%, whatever you have, in that nearly 70%, okay, in that 70% is uninhabited. Okay, in that say 30%, 70% of that 30% is uninhabited. Okay, and the uneven distribution of population in different parts of world is mainly due to varied characteristics of land and climate, the rugged topography, steep slopes of the mountains, steep slopes, and low-lying areas susceptible to water logging, desert areas, thick forested areas. In these areas, especially, guys, less people live. Reason is, could be the conditions or could be the atmosphere around there. And plains and river valleys offer suitable land for agriculture, and these are densely populated areas of the world, because we can come to a conclusion that these areas are conditions which can be these areas have conditions which can be adapted by the humans. You're getting the point. Now, when we talk about land use, simple thing. When your land is being utilized for different purposes, could be your agriculture, forestry, mining, building, then it is called land use. Now, there are many factors, many physical factors which determines the use of land. Could be topography, soil, climate, minerals, and availability of waters. And also, there are more determinants of land use pattern, human factors. Those human factors are population and technology. Now, how is population? Of course, more population means, of course, the more land would be used, more, and technology also is required. Somewhat, it is. At last, when we come to a conclusion, it is somewhat related with land use pattern. Now, when we talk about land, it can be, on the basis of ownership. It can be divided into two types: private land and community land. We can understand from the word by it. Private land means it is owned by a private person, means individual. It is somewhat in a family, within a family. Community land, it's something like a community area, like your venture. It's a community land. Now, if there is a park over there, it's not that only you can go. It could be a private land, but if it's a government park, it's not that you can only go. It's something like everyone can go. It's a community property resource. It's also known as common property resources, community lands. Now, what are the main causes, okay, of environment? What are the main causes which threat the environment? Main are land degradation, landslides, soil erosion, desertification. And not only these, but population too. When you have a high growth of population, you need more minerals, you need more resources so that you can sustain your livelihood, isn't it? So more population means more population can lead to a big crisis. in terms of food or in terms of water, in terms of resources. Now, next is of course about conservation of land resource. Now, when we talk about conservation of land resource, growing population and an ever-growing demand has led to large-scale destruction of forest cover and arable land, and has created a fear of losing this natural resource. So main things are you have to adapt processes like afforestation, land reclamation, afforestation in the sense planting trees, sorry, and land reclamation means you're reclaiming the land, you're bringing back your land, and you have to regulate the use of chemical pesticides and fertilizers. Rather than those, you can use manure. Okay, you can use manure, and checks on overgrazing. You have to have a look on the overgrazing by animals, and excessive overgrazing can cause to in turn soil erosion, which again causes which is again a big threat to land resource. And when we talk about soil, soil is a thin layer of a grainy substance covering the surface of the earth, and this is called a soil. Okay, it is closely linked to land. Land forms determine the type of soil. Soil is made up of organic matter, minerals, and weathered rocks found on the earth. This happens through the process of weathering. The right mix of minerals and organic matter make the soil fertile. So this is a general topic which we're learning from earlier classes. Soil is somewhat linked to land. We know that different landforms like plain, plateaus, these all determined at different types of soils, isn't it? Now these soils are made up of different substances which has organic matter like humus in it, or minerals, many minerals, or weathered rocks. Okay, now when you have such a mix of minerals and organic matter, of course the soil will become more fertile and it could be more preferable for agriculture. You're getting the point which I'm stating. And now what is weathering? Weathering means the breaking up and decay of exposed rocks. Could be by different conditions, by temperature changes, frost actions, plants, animals, and human activities. Okay. So, soil and weathering. You have to understand weathering. Weathering, I guess, you people are learning from grade 4, of course. Weathering, it means the breaking up. Okay, your few rocks are the big rocks. Those are broken into two pieces. Some action is there on it. It could be different actions, temperature changes, frost actions, plants and animals, and human activities. Now, when you talk about landslides, it's simple. What the thing is, the mass movement. Okay, suddenly the landslide means the land, whatever is there, it slides down. Okay, we can understand from the name of it, landslides. Next topic is soil profile. Now, soil profile, the first is a topsoil. In this topsoil, it has humus and vegetation in it. Subsoil has sand, silt, clay, weathered rock material. Next is weathered rock material, and next is parent rock or a bedrock. The factors for soil formation, there are many factors. Parent rock, because it determines color, texture, chemical properties, mineral content, permeability of a particular substance. And relief, altitude, and slope determine accumulation of soil. Flora, fauna, and microorganisms affects the rate of humus formation. Time determines thickness of soil profile. Climate, temperature, rainfall influence, rate of weathering, and humus formation. These are few factors which affect soil formation. Now, degradation of soil and conservation. Now, this is the first part. This is the last, subtopic of the first part. Here, the mulching. Mulching means what? The bare ground between plants. There's a bare ground between plants, and it is covered with organic matter. Okay, when it is covered with organic matter, it helps to retain soil moisture. Understood? Now, next is contour barriers. In contour barriers, stones, grass, soil are used to build barriers along contours. Trenches are made in front of barriers to collect water. And when we talk about rock dam, rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of water. This prevents gullies and further soil loss. Now, terrace farming means steps are made. Okay, broad steps are made so that the water gets collected in every place. It's because it is flat. The surface is flat. There are steep slopes, so it can be available for the growth of crops, and it is mainly used in hilly areas. And intercropping means different crops are grown in alternative, you know, rows and are sown at different times to protect the soil from rainwash. Contour plowing means it's not contour barrier exactly, but here what happens is you plow the particular plant parallel to the contours which you have. Plant like that, so of a hill slope to form a natural barrier for water to flow down the slope. This is contour plowing. Now, when we talk about shelter belts, these are mainly used in coastal areas. First thing is that it is mainly used in coastal and dry regions, and this is used to check the wind movement, and it also protects the soil cover, because you can see that the shelter belts, it is like all the trees are planted simultaneously. Now, next topic is of course water, but this is enough for the part one because this is a biggest, it's very big chapter. So we are done with the part one. In the second part, we'll learn about water, natural vegetation, and wildlife, three resources. Bye bye.